This article is the 11th in a series focusing on vendors who are selling their wares at the Western New York Welcome Center's TasteNY Market. Thank you to Warren Emblidge III, president of S.J. McCullagh Inc., for meeting with me to share McCullagh Coffee's story, along with some marketing tips and strategies. Spotlight on McCullagh Coffee.
Every coffee bean that makes its way into McCullagh Coffee Roasters, locally roasted and ground coffee products, arrives by trucks from warehouses in New York City or New Jersey, after being transported by ship from the tropical and equatorial regions where coffee is grown. As the beans move from the traditional 60 to 75 kilogram, 132 to 165 pound jute bags into the processing phases, those beans all pass through a small grated port in the concrete floor of McCullagh Coffee's Swan Street plant in Buffalo as they make their way into the now computer-monitored roaster. While the computer and sensors are relatively new innovations, McCullagh Coffee has been selling teas and related products, roasting artisanal coffees, and operating as a family-owned business since 1867, when Samuel J. McCullagh first opened for business on Main Street in downtown Buffalo. Samuel's Tea and Coffee Shop has evolved over the last 150 years, both in the diversity of products and outlets and in its focus on direct delivery of equipment, services, and products to customers in upstate New York, northern Pennsylvania, and southern Ontario, and beyond. With Canadian operations in Oakville, Ontario, the McCullagh market continues to expand.
The company was founded in 1867 by Samuel McCullagh, and he was a Scottish immigrant to the United States, and he set up a shop that primarily did retail on Main Street in Buffalo, down around where the old A&A's building and the M&T Plaza are today, and it was at the time called the New York Tea Company, and they served a good commerce there from people coming from the east and going to the west, and he made a good trade and built that company. It's been located within the city of Buffalo for most of our existence. There was a short time when we moved to Kenmore, which was a big move for us, so that was probably in the 1960s and 70s, and moved into the current facility here in downtown Buffalo in the early 1980s, and so we've been here for about 40 years now. And through the history of the company, it's really grown. Traditionally, when we first started, was more of a retail shop, and then got into the institutional markets and serviced a lot of the the hospitals and long-term care facilities, and continued to grow there, as well as grow geographically across upstate New York, almost all the way to Albany and throughout northern Pennsylvania, a little bit into Ohio. And more recently, we've branched out into the retail space, so we're supporting grocery and private label programs nationally, and actually have a Canadian sister company that also does the same kind of work in Canada. So it's cool that we're very much a small business based in Buffalo, but if you went to Nova Scotia and stayed in a bed and breakfast, you might find our coffee there. So it's kind of a cool thing to see, and I actually get feedback from folks who send me pictures saying, "Hey, I'm enjoying a cup of your coffee here in my bed and breakfast." So it's been a neat ride for the company, and we've grown along with the love of coffee in the U.S.
McCullagh Coffee Roasters, established 1867, is the trademarked name for S.J. McCullagh's business, along with the trademarked logo. The business is owned by the Emblidge family, Warren's parents. Warren Emblidge Jr., Warren's father, continues to serve as chairman. "I'm a hired gun at this point," Warren III said. Along with Warren III, S.J. McCullagh employs approximately 50 other people, including 6 or 7 manufacturer-trained service staff who install and maintain beverage equipment full-time. "I cut my teeth in the business," Warren said, as he recalled working in the plant through high school and college. He pursued other professional interests after college until about 8 years ago, when he rejoined the business as his father began phasing out of his direct management functions. "When I came back in 2012, a lot of the people who I knew when I was in college and high school in the early and mid-1990s were still here. At the ages of 9 and 11, Warren's own children are just beginning to show some interest. His 9-year-old recently helped label some bags during a brief production crunch. That's a start." Warren said it's about the people. You differentiate yourself through the people. He said coffee in many ways is what the product is. Warren added, in order to be successful in the kind of business that we're in, you need the right kind of people supporting your customer base. He went on to say, the service component is huge. He said the service and delivery folks are the face of the company to the customer. You have to understand what the needs of the customer are and bring the product to the customer and help support what they need. It's not rocket science, but you have to understand the customer and understand what they are looking for and how they are looking for it. There's a huge service component to what it is we do. Warren explained McCullagh Coffee services are customized for every client and outlet, from product delivery to on-site stocking of the full line of beverage products to servicing of equipment. It's not just the packaging and marketing of products. McCullagh Coffee's webpage, www.mccullaghcoffee.com, has a sustainability section which outlines the principles the business follows. It's a way to differentiate yourself, but it's also the right thing to do, Warren said. That includes participating in the Rainforest Alliance's certification program with its focus on 4 themes: forests, climate, human rights, and livelihoods. For McCullagh Coffee, that also means working with coffee brokers who also participate in the Rainforest Alliance programs. The Rainforest Alliance certification process, as Warren describes it, addresses the social welfare of the workers and their families, ensures that there's no child labor, ensures that there are educational facilities, and that there's health care for the workers. It hits environmental aspects as well, so it discourages deforestation, it discourages use of chemical pesticides, but at the same time, it's practical. It's not absolute, but it's about the steps you need to take. Warren said it doesn't just make McCullagh Coffee and its customers feel better, it helps the farmer earn more for the product because they get a premium for that. McCullagh Coffee then sells the certified product at a premium, so it's a win-win. They make more, and we can make more. See www.rainforest-alliance.org. While the certification program does, in some cases, and with disclosure, allow coffee to be labeled as Rainforest Alliance certified with as low as 30% certified coffee, S.J. McCullagh doesn't do that with its Rainforest Alliance labeled products. If we're going to sell Rainforest Alliance coffee, it's going to be 100% Rainforest Alliance certified. Since it's impossible for S.J. McCullagh to visit and independently verify the practices of every grower at every origin, Warren explained that you have to rely on the third-party certifiers. Rainforest Alliance comes to the top as practical but stringent, in addition to being well known enough to resonate with consumers. McCullagh Coffee does contract forward buying, looking 6 to 12 months out as they work with their trusted brokers based on projected demand. Each futures contract is about a 40,000-pound commitment. Coffee bags are stored in bonded warehouses in New York and New Jersey. Pre-shipment samples help ensure quality expectations and requirements. Delivery follows a call to the broker to arrange for shipment by tractor-trailer from the warehouses to the Swan Street facility. Full truckloads typically work for some of the more popular origins like Brazilian, Guatemalan, Honduran, or Colombian. More specialty origin coffee beans come in by the pallet on partial truckloads. Warren listed some of the many origins of McCullagh Coffee products: Brazil, Colombia, Honduras, Peru, Guatemala, Ethiopia, Kenya, Mexico, Tanzania, Sumatra, Jamaica, and Hawaii, among others. McCullagh Coffee focuses on both the coffee origin and flavor profiles, depending on the coffee and blend. The part of the market you see growing is the one where people are more interested in origin. For coffee, another consideration is the roast color with the associated flavor impacts. Some people like dark roast coffees, some people don't. Some people like bright, acidic coffees. Some people like smoother, richer coffees. You can market that in the context of the origin because they all have unique flavor profiles that come out in the roasted product. Warren said Kenyan or Tanzanian coffees may be more floral, while high-altitude grown Central American coffee might be more acidic. They're drinking the idea, Warren suggested as he described customer preferences, particularly in association with exotic origins. Some coffee drinkers are more adventurous, while others stick to what they know. McCullagh Coffee works to meet both of those customers' preferences. Product labeling and descriptions have tended to include the origin and the flavor characteristics, especially at the higher end of the market. At the lower end of the market, it's more about describing the taste and whether it will appeal to the customer. McCullagh also does a lot of blends that don't call out the specific origin. It's an agricultural product that varies over time, Warren said. When you use blends, you have the ability to kind of pull things out and push things back in to maintain that profile you are looking for. That's part of how we maintain flavor consistency in our blends. For example, you might use what are called primary milds, higher-end milds, from Peru for part of the year and from Honduras for another part of the year, and one region for part of the year and another region for another part of the year. It all has to do with that crop cycle and when it's fresh. And then you might add into that a Brazil, or you might add into that a Guatemalan, or some other origin. You can change the blend through time to help maintain the consistency of the product you are selling. Warren suggested, in coffee, until recently I suppose, people are creatures of habit. You enjoy a particular coffee. When you wake up in the morning and you have that cup of coffee, it's going to taste the same today as it did yesterday. That's really important in our business, maintaining that flavor profile. While the branding is important in some of the product lines, the McCullagh brand is as much about the service and consistency as it is about specific coffee varieties and products. In a lot of the restaurants, you might not even know where the coffee is from, Warren said. It's tough to market that way, but with our growth in retail, we've had an opportunity to do that. That's been a positive thing for our brand, as well as with the advent of K-Cups. Warren said the K-Cup trend doesn't really fit from a sustainability perspective, but it's something that the customer demands. He said the customer is looking for convenience and variety, and if you think about the office manager who's got to keep 50, 60, however many employees happy, K-Cups are a good way of providing variety to meet everyone's individual preferences. Compostable and recyclable K-Cups are out there, but that is currently greenwashing, Warren said, as he talked about the challenges of meeting customer demands and achieving sustainability objectives. He explained recyclable K-Cups are not truly recycled with the current plastic recycling processes, and the compostable K-Cups require controlled, high-temperature commercial composting plants, which are few and far between, and good luck finding one in Western New York. People also assume that compostable K-Cups will compost in the landfill. He said the reality is, with current practices, compostable plastics contribute to methane problems, which is actually worse than with inert non-compostable plastics. Warren said, it's difficult, but the consumer demand created by the convenience and variety just trumps the environmental concerns, and then the greenwashing just makes people feel good about what they are buying. A number of local farms use McCullagh's coffee bean roasting byproduct as a soil amendment, and the used jute bags get picked up for use as row covers among other secondary uses. That said, Warren's father, Warren Jr., has taken McCullagh Coffee's sustainability and environmental stewardship commitments to another level through the founding and operation of EcoVerity Organics, which works with community stakeholders to use locally sourced food and food processing waste, livestock manure, yard waste, and other natural materials to create custom-tailored and tested composts for lawns, gardens, landscapes, and agricultural crops. That includes coffee grounds and McCullagh Coffee's own coffee roasting and grinding byproducts. For more information, see www.ecoveritycompost.com. In the interest of full disclosure, I've had many discussions with Warren Jr. and other EcoVerity staff in recent years as they have worked to move the business from concept to a sustainable operating entity. The connection is reinforced with the EcoVerity coffee brand, produced by McCullagh Coffee. This Rainforest Alliance certified product uses coffee beans from Guatemala and Colombia and packages the roasted, natural flavor encapsulated ground coffee in compostable packaging printed with soy-based inks. Exterior packaging is Sustainable Forest Initiative, SFI certified. This is one more big step towards McCullagh Coffee Roasters' sustainability commitments. While touring the McCullagh Coffee plant, it was fascinating to observe the coffee-making process, from the stacked bags of unroasted coffee beans through the carefully monitored roasting, grinding, and packaging stages. Much of the process is automated with significant computerized monitoring. Still, the production team keeps it all running smoothly. The procurement, shipping, roasting, quenching, grinding, and packaging stages of production are only part of the story, though. As Warren said, with its focus on servicing a diverse mix of clients, much of the space in the plant is devoted to beverage equipment awaiting deployment, repair, or recycling. As a full-service beverage company, through marketing and business alliances, McCullagh Coffee also stocks and distributes more than a dozen other product brands, including familiar names like Lavazza, Green Mountain Coffee, Starbucks, Maxwell House, Folgers, Harney & Sons, Bigelow, Nestle, and Lipton, among others. McCullagh also stocks and distributes brewing and consumption accessories, including filters, cups, napkins, and other paper products, sweeteners, flavor syrups, and non-dairy creamers. Products include traditional roast and ground single origin and blended specialty grade coffees at various price points, flavored coffees, liquid shelf-stable and frozen coffee, and espresso products from Nespresso, Illy, and directly from McCullagh. Bean-to-cup specialty brewers and cold brew programs are available through McCullagh Coffee. Even drinking water programs and cleaning and sanitation supplies are among the offerings. That's all part of the S.J. McCullagh commitment to meeting the needs of every customer and client, from coffee houses, restaurants, and fine dining establishments to food service, hospitality, healthcare, and educational institutions, offices, and convenience stores. S.J. McCullagh supports retailers, food service distributors, and office coffee service operators for more than 600 manufactured roast and ground coffee products. Packaging options include retail bags and pouch products, single-serve coffees and cappuccinos, 4-cup hotel packs, and fractional pack coffees with filters. Specially processed, quick-dissolving hot chocolate is also available in K-cup packaging. McCullagh Coffee Roasters welcomes distributor arrangements and even toll and profile roasting and private label programs, taking advantage of McCullagh's equipment investments and more than 20 million pounds of roasting and grinding capacity. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has greatly impacted the business, especially during the spring 2020 shutdown. Several of the marketing channels were greatly impacted and continue to be affected. Demand is low in the office and restaurant spaces. Warren said restaurants in particular have been suffering. It's very challenging for them, and our hearts go out to them. Still, people like the normalcy and comfort of their favorite beverages, so at the same time, long-term care, hospitals, convenience store, and grocery sales have been very good, as has the home sales part of the business. We probably do a couple of pallets of home sales drop shipping per day, Warren said. S.J. McCullagh is a seller-fulfilled prime distributor through Amazon, which means in addition to their direct processing of online retail shop and phone sales, they handle and ship orders placed through Amazon directly out of the Swan Street plant. We get the prime badge, which buyers look for, but we ship from here, so we control our own destiny, Warren said. Gift cards and baskets, along with many other McCullagh Coffee Roasters branded or distributed products, are available online or in McCullagh Coffee Roasters retail shop at the entrance to the 245 Swan Street facility. Coffee and espresso making equipment and supplies are also available in the retail shop. McCullagh Coffee's webpage, again at www.mccullaghcoffee.com, includes product illustrations and pricing under the Retail Shop tab. As S.J. McCullagh Coffee Chairman Warren Emblidge Jr. writes on the McCullagh Coffee's history page, "Our passion for great coffees ensures that you will get an exceptional cup of coffee each and every time. That's our promise to you."
Thank you to S.J. McCullagh Coffee President Warren Emblidge III for taking the time to discuss McCullagh Coffee Roasters' historic beverage business, along with some marketing experiences and strategies. You can find freshly brewed McCullagh coffee and a selection of packaged McCullagh coffee products at the TasteNY Market at the Western New York Welcome Center. McCullagh Coffee is also featured at the TasteNY Market kiosk at the new Buffalo Exchange Street Amtrak train station, in addition to many area and regional groceries, restaurants, offices, healthcare facilities, educational institutions, coffee houses, and convenience stores. McCullagh Coffee products may also arrive by drop shipment directly to your door through online sales. Whether you know it or not, McCullagh Coffee products could be in your cup or brewed with equipment provided and serviced by S.J. McCullagh. With its commitment to Rainforest Alliance certified products, McCullagh Coffee combines a commitment to human rights and fairly traded sourcing and purchasing strategies with sustainable, resilient, and environmentally responsible production techniques. S.J. McCullagh is an example of how small businesses in Western New York and throughout the state are continually adjusting to changes in the economy and markets, and is one of the many businesses working to make fresh, tasty, and nutritious, locally grown or processed foods, beverages, and specialty goods and services available to consumers in the region.